For liberty and for freedom. Okay, never mind. They've completely sunk those ships, or maybe we sunk them. It looks like the Florida is going to get by. Now, if we can, we want to try to stop her. I'm not sure if it's even possible with just sailors here. In the meantime, what I will do is I will actually send our sailors over here to Captain Kidd to defend the town and get back to these ships when we can. It's all up to the artillery, frankly. If they can take out an enemy ship like that, that would be amazing. I don't think it's going to be possible, but let's see if they'll try. I think even the distance is too great. And can Davis actually get a shot there? There's just no way, guys. There is just no way. The best thing we can do is get Davis and Matthews over here to the center of town to defend it. Now, what we're going to do is actually do a little fast forward here, get to the fighting aspect of this particular mission. Of course, the cannons will start firing once he gets into range, but he's just barely getting into range. However, taking out the Scarborough would be a huge bonus for the Continental Army. Oh, never mind. Okay, I see what they're doing here. So they're going to actually land troops right on the shore here, and we are going to just be prepared to repel any and all British troops as they approach. I'm actually concerned that the Florida might drop off troops over here, but let's see if we can't destroy them in the water before they even get to the shore. In the meantime, we'll get our sailors prepared to just fire at anybody trying to actually get off those ships. Let's make it happen, guys. I'm not going to let the British get away with this. Even though we only have sailors here, they've seen plenty of combat, and as you can see, our cannonball just tore through that British ship, killing quite a few men on board. We're not even sure if we're facing regulars or just sailors like ourselves. So let's see what happens. Let's be prepared for anything that occurs. For liberty. Come on, Matthews. To let you know what weapons we're actually using here, it's the standard Sea Service percussion rifle. In close combat like this, it does very well, performs quite well, but it looks like they are desperate to just get directly into close combat with us. I don't really want to do that. I want to stay at a distance and fire, so I'm hoping that our unit of 75 can hold them, and it looks like thanks to our cannon, we actually routed them, but now Matthews has to deal with Philpott, the advancing British unit. Fire! So it's British Marines. It's definitely not as easy to deal with as just standard sailors. But we're doing pretty well with our cannons here. Channing, you deserve a medal, a commendation from the Continental Congress. But let's see how this battle goes to the very end. So the Marines have actually forced one of our units to run. But thanks to our cannon fire, we forced them to run. However, we're going to just need to keep this battle going. Look at the dead already on the beach. Just incredible. The bloody South here in the American Revolution. It still is the South, I'll promise you that. Come on, boys. We need that canister shot. I prefer that the enemy does not capture this cannon, although that seems almost inevitable at this point. Let him have it, boys. Let's move Matthews forward. Actually, I'm going to have Matthews charge just to defend that cannon. And it looks like we've held it. We've completely broken that unit. Now let's go for the British over here. I'm not giving that cannon up. I refuse. Get back on the cannon, you fools. Looks like they've gotten off the cannon just to deal with the enemy infantry. Maybe not a bad idea. This way they won't bother us anymore, especially with Davis coming through the woods here to assist. And interestingly enough, guys, the men manning the cannon are actually Continental troops. It's the only Continental troops currently on the map. We do have more Continental troops in reserve and potentially arriving at the battle, but they have not gotten here yet. And one of the biggest reasons that I want to get on that damn cannon is I want to blow the Scarborough out of the water. And I think we could do it. Come on. Channing. Maybe not. Maybe we can't blow the Scarborough out of the water. Nonetheless, I think we've won the battle against the sailors here. Although those shots from the Scarborough are not helping. There we go. Another enemy unit shattered, guys. We're completely destroying the British landing party. And in fact, I'm going to keep Matthews over here in the woods. Let's keep him safe. Let's see how we're looking over here. We'll get Hodgkins over here at this part of the town. So essentially, we're putting everything into defending the town. And we'll get Smith over here. It's not the greatest kind of units. These are just standard Minutemen. But I think sometimes the Minutemen save the day. And hopefully, this is one of those times.
Forward!
Kind of have it. Yeah, I don't think our cannons are even touching that ship. Alright, guys, we'll return once we get into combat over by the town. I think for now we're just going to be essentially chasing the enemy. Oh, we are getting some shots on the Scarborough. Wait a minute. That's pretty cool. Even if it means having to resupply this area with additional units from our sailors, I think I'll go for it. Because right now Channing is firing away at the Scarborough. And what I'm really paying attention to are the crew on board. I don't know if Channing can destroy the ship entirely, but that crew is looking pretty bad. Looks like they've taken a pretty nasty hit. So let's keep this fire up and see if we can completely make the ship abandon the ship. That would be amazing if we could get these guys off the actual boat, take it over, and turn it over to the Continental Congress. As you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful vessel. So destroying it would be a huge blow to the British. Alright, looks like we've got our first group of enemy Marines approaching, guys. Let's do what we can. Let's see if we can even hold. I'm keeping everybody in their positions. And hopefully these defensive positions stand up to the test of time. Our first units have arrived. The reinforcements have arrived, guys. Look at that. Sailors, as well as some actual Continental units, Continental Army units. Let's go. Looks like we're getting shot at by the enemy ships. There's not much we can do about that. Let's just advance to the town and hopefully get there in time. We can even try to advance double quick. The guys are going to be very tired when they get here, though, so I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I'm just going to let fate show us what we get in this battle. Let's put it that way. How are the boys doing here in town? It doesn't look like we have any Marines attacking us from the front. So I'm actually going to bring Hodgkins here to deal with any breakthroughs. And maybe we can hold the Marines at bay while the rest of our troops move up to the front lines. I think we have some Hessian troops here. For those of you that were not aware, the actual British used a lot of Hessian mercenaries. Or is it Hessian? I think it's Hessian. Mercenaries to actually fight against the Americans. And just all of those German city-states were essentially open to selling mercenary units to the highest bidder. So hopefully we're not dealing with them. They're pretty good troops. It looks like it, though, because they're also skirmishers. But let's just see if we can't hold on until the reinforcements arrive. Then we won't even have to worry about them. There we go. First unit of actual Loyalists broken. Glory to America. It's looking pretty good, guys. I'm sorry to my British or English subscribers. I do apologize. We will play as the English as well. In fact, if you want us to play as the English, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll absolutely make it a plan. As you can see, the British are landing more troops. We're going to have to deal with that, and we're still firing away at the Scarborough. I'm going to grab Davis here and bring him to the fight, too, even though it's only 24 men, or 20 men. We'll actually keep him back here just in case Chalmers needs some reinforcements. But as you can see, the enemy are landing more troops, and I'm assuming they're going to land some British regulars. Because of the fog of war, we can't see them. But they ain't arriving happy, I can promise you that. They are arriving angry. Third attempt by the British to break through the town. I want to get our sailors here quickly. Of course, our Continental troops will be even more useful here. The 221 men. But something tells me we're going to have to use them against the enemy getting off the Viti right here. So here we go. Getting to the front, still breaking those British units. Amazing job. Absolutely amazing job by our men. Hell, we could even go for a charge if we wanted to. I think instead, I'll just push forward and get some shots. For George Washington. Love seeing those Marines get hit. And while it may not look like a lot, you have to consider the fact that we're using round ball ammunition during this war. So casualties are not like what they would be during the American Civil War. A lot of people were like, oh, casualties in this game are broken, etc. No, they're just realistic. If you have 120 guys in a unit and 30 of them go down, that unit is going to be terrified. In the Civil War, maybe you lose half of the guys and they still keep fighting. It's the kind of bullets we're using, guys. And look at this. The crazy Hessians moving forward on our sailors. Let's show them that we know how to fight, too. We can stand up to these Germans anytime. So far, I think we've stopped that first push into the town, even without reinforcements. That's a great sign, guys. Now we're going to take Prescott and Alpha. These are our two continental units, and we're going to move them over here in the woods. What I'm hoping is that the enemy's going to have to cross this crossing right here to get into town, and that's when we're going to strike. That's when the Continental Army is actually going to fight back in full force. Of course, we even have the support of our sailors. We might use our sailors in a close combat situation, because even though they're not that good at distance, at long range, these guys know how to fight. They know how to fight in a bar brawl, and they know how to fight in a war, too. So I think they're going to be very useful. More Hessians? Alright, well, if you want the punishment, I'll give it to you. Open fire. Start pushing these sailors up to get a flank attack on the enemy. Looks like a rice paddy, but is that possible? Yeah, it could be a rice paddy. Nonetheless, it'll allow us to get a flank attack on the arriving British troops. Almost tempted to charge here with my sailors. We've done so well so far with them, but I want to get a third group of sailors here to really make sure the charge works. But I'm going for it. Let's get a volley off first on Hales and on Brenton. And actually, if they break again, I won't charge, but if they return to this area, my sailors are absolutely ready to give them hell. Look at that. Even those completely hard-trained Marines, you know, they've had drill instructors yelling at them for months just to get into this position. But against withering fire from our sailors, they're not going to make it through. And look at that. The British are running in. Oh, my goodness. I didn't expect this. We got to get those Continental forces forward. But they just pretty much ran right into town with Clay. They didn't even wait for us to get set up in the woods. And that was actually an oddly smart idea from the AI there to just rush it, because they knew that we were going to be waiting for them. This is going to be the pivotal point of the battle, guys, is can we hold this area? And it's going to be a very, very dangerous part of the battle as well. Might need to charge forward, I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely sending Kidd over here to deal with Benton, and we might need to bring in the sailors too. Alright, it's going to be hand-to-hand combat all the way through here. For liberty! Charge! Hopefully they're not too tired for an attack. We got some friendly fire, but we gotta do what we gotta do here. We're firing into the back of a bunch of our units, but they're doing the same. Reload. Alright, reinforcements have joined us. I didn't even realize we're getting reinforcements. Only a few sailor units, but they could make all the difference. I'm gonna have these sailors just charge those Marines. Actually, let's just get... Let's charge, come on. We've got to be aggressive. We've got to be aggressive. I'm going to try to get these sailors over here to actually flank the enemy. That might be the first time they've actually managed to rout us. I'm not too worried. I'm more worried about trying to get a flank attack there, because this is the perfect time to do it. And sure enough, we've broken the first group of British regulars. The British regulars are really the biggest threat. So we've broken one group of them. That's great. If we can break another, even better. So really lower their chances of taking the town. Just going to put Hodgkins right here. I hope that'll work. I think it'll allow him to still fire also at Brenton, for instance. And actually, these Continental forces, we're not going to bring them to the west. We're going to bring them over here to deal with Brenton. Because if we can break him, then of course we've got a lot of other units to use. Or Benton, even. Right, that's what I was worried about, just breaking our sailors. That's a problem. We're still doing damage to the Scarborough, which is incredible. And we're also just now arriving with these additional sailors. Let's get these sailors in as well. A lot of them, they've been in the fight since the very beginning, so, you know, it doesn't surprise me that they'd be tired and want to get out of it now. They will be back. They will reform. And so far, look at those Continental troops doing a great job. Even though the British do have that woods cover, we're still hitting them for a lot of damage. That's what counts. I'd like to get a concentrated volley on Preston, to be honest with you. But for now, we'll settle for Benton. We'll move Kidd up here as well, and Matthews, and try to take out Brendan. Oh my goodness, there are the Hessians. They're back again. Bork. Let's give them a nice volley. Should give us plenty of time to actually reload, although we didn't hit a single one of them. They're just too fast. But we are hitting the British over here at the crossing, guys. This was our plan all along, and it seems to be going well. Reload. Sure, some of you will be asking what rifle are our Continental units using, and they're using the Long Land 1722. Even for this time period, quite an old rifle. We're going to get flanked by the Hessians. Not much we can do about that. I'm going to keep firing at Brenton over here and his Marines. Now, he's got cover by the trees. And it looks like he finally forced AFA to push back. This is our Continental unit. We just can't have that. So we might have to send our sailors over here to the west to put some more fire on the British regulars. I mean, let's face it, the British regulars outmatch our regulars any day. And just the fact that we've caused all these casualties is huge, but we've got to keep it going. Now the question is, do we do a charge? And let me know in the comments down below, if you were in this position right now, would you charge with these units? In fact, please feel free to backseat game with any of our videos. We love to see you guys putting in, Grippy, you should have done this, you should have done that. I always love to see that. So, yeah, let me know. Here we go. I'm just going to get these guys back into their standard positions, especially the guys with very few units. I think they're going to make more of a difference that way. Come on, Captain Kidd. I think we've pretty much broken the regulars. We've actually shattered one of the Hessian unit, in fact. We've also gotten one of the units, the British units, to actually retreat. I think the British days are numbered here, unless they have more reinforcements. We may have just saved Savannah, Georgia. We may have just saved the South from any Loyalist influence. King George, your time is over. See how we're doing against that ship. I'd love to kill the Scarborough. I think there's actually a chance we may get a kill here, although Channing God bless him. He's taken so many hits. Look at all the shell holes here around the cannons just to make this happen. So we got to give a lot of respect to Channing there. Yeah, they're not giving up. I thought they would completely give up, but they are sending in reinforcements to deal with us. We just have to keep on the pressure. Look at that, even sending Clay in some regulars. We're going to attack Clay with Heck and Hodgkins. Won't take this lion down. Bayonets and rifle butts, boys. There we go. We've got to be careful because there's actually a unit of 87 British regulars here, and they are a problem. So I'm just going to send any unit we have on the outskirts here to attack right there at that position. But we absolutely broke them in that close combat fight. And just look at the fallen on the field here. We are not kidding around when we say this is a vicious, vicious battle. Our men as well as theirs. Plenty of sailors falling there in a job really that's not made for them. They're not infantry units, but they are doing a great job as infantry units here against the British to save their glorious Georgia. And I'd love to take the Whitby, but that would mean actually getting ships out there and getting on board against 300 men. That would be a massive prize. Even more of a prize than destroying the Scarborough, because that probably is full of supplies. It's also full of British units. They might decide to let them offshore, or maybe they decided we've given them enough of a beating for one day. Marines breaking again, and we've got Bell trapped in an absolute hornet's nest here. Well, really not so much a hornet's nest as a turkey shoot. Reload. Beautiful, guys. We've broken Bell with just sailors. I just saw that guy fall. That was a great animation, by the way. But we've broken him with just sailors. We want to keep it up, though. I'm not going to stop firing. We can't take any prisoners against the British regular units, because even at 60 or 50, they could be pretty strong. And look at that. I see a few sailors over here. Did they just get off the ship? I don't know. I think they are just existing units from the other part of the battle where we absolutely decimated the enemy. But I could be wrong. In any case, the only place we need to hold is right here. So let's stay put. I'm not going to chase them or do anything crazy like that. In fact, I'm even going to get a Continental unit to defend the town. That wonderful flag, the 13th star flag. Now, I am a stubborn bastard, so I will actually get Hopkins and Alpha to potentially go after him. Alpha is our other Continental unit, but right now I'm going to focus on the units that are returning. Right now, Clay, and right in the middle of the mud flats, a perfect opportunity for us to just lay waste to that unit. Let's see if we can't make it happen. Let's send Joy in, because Benton is pretty desperate. He's going for a charge against Captain Kidd. And actually, they've done a pretty good job here with Minchin. So I'm going to push Prescott forward as well. Let's get Smith up here, too. And low. And it looks like Whitney is returning quite a lot of British regulars. This is the problem with these guys. They don't give up. So you just can't let them retreat. Now we've got a Continental unit here that's gotten a beautiful victory. And we're going to send him to the front of the town. Officially under Army control, brothers. Now, Prescott was going to get there first, but I think it's better if Alpha does. Although, let's let Prescott do it. That's actually not a bad idea. We'll let him stay here first. If he routs, then we move Alpha into his position. I think that should work pretty well. All focus on the British. Well, where else would it be, right? But I'm assuming that no more British are going to be coming across here. Look at the massacre they took trying to cross this muddy area. We had planned it. We didn't manage to get there in time, but we did technically get there in time. If we'd gotten there a minute earlier, it would have been even worse for the British. I love that Lowe is back here acting as almost a skirmisher unit against Pitt and his Marines. That's the kind of guerrilla tactics we need to see to grab a victory here. Let's just make sure we don't have any other units that I'm forgetting about. Because we can use anybody and everybody that's willing to fight. Even Davis. throwing everything they can at us. Absolutely everything they can. And we'll get Hopkins right there. Take those positions. Don't let the barricades fall. And they're going in with Whitney, an actual massive charge. I think this is about all they have left. We've managed to rout them, and I am not going to charge back. I'm just going to hold my position and keep on firing. Thankfully, we have ammunition in the building right here. Otherwise, we would have run out of mini-ball ammunition. I'm sorry, we don't have mini-balls. We would have run out of ball ammunition, musket ammunition, a long time ago. But we have plenty, and hopefully it'll last to the very end. Fire! Now, let's hope this is a victory in the south. We need one, guys, and we need to deprive the British of any supplies. It's exactly what we're doing in this situation. Musket fire bristling from that town is amazing. I'm just so pleased that our men are doing that, and we actually have the Scarborough taking on water. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to break through. We have very little ammo left, so we've essentially just got one cannon firing at this thing, and it's not going to work. But it is taking on water. It's going to take some damage. No matter what happens, they are going to have to fix that thing back up, and how funny would it be if just with that little water it's starting to take on that this thing actually sinks before the end of the battle. That would be a huge plus. Regulars coming back. Whitney, have you not had enough of our withering fire? Now, come on, son. Man, if this wasn't the American Revolution, I would think this was an American Civil War game with all the bodies on the field. This has been, without a doubt, the most vicious fight we've had in Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail, and without a doubt, my favorite. I just love it. Let's just take a look. I think actually both standards are on top of one another, but no matter what happens, we have a British flag here. Look at this. Look at that. Oh no, it's an American flag and a British flag next to one another. How beautiful is that? That is just an amazing visual. I love it. And Bell just stepping right in front of our sailors. I think he got a little too confident. We'll try to follow him with Prescott, but just stepping right in front of the percussion rifles of our sailors. And I think we can also get a flanking shot with Joye. Let's see if that can't do that. Gotta give it to the British. They're not giving up. They're continuing the fight going. No matter how bloody they're becoming, they will not stop fighting. So I have to give it to them. They are very, very skilled fighters, without a doubt. Just the fact that they would continue returning, etc. Or maybe they're just not very bright. I think, though, that what they're trying to do is eventually try to break one of these units and then move into the northern part of the town, and we're just not going to let that happen. It's that simple. Our Continental forces here under Elphys control have done a great job. Boaz Elphys, I love that name, Boaz. Boaz is absolutely going to be getting a medal at the end of this fight. Maybe even make him a general. I mean, the guy's got the skills to boot, so perhaps we could find some use for him. We've certainly taught the British a lesson or two, although some of our Continental units like Prescott here started with 200 men are down to 40. That's the sad part. We just broke Minchin's forces. That's what we've got to do to the rest of the British here in this area, is just break them up and down. How do they expect to break through? I mean, they've got a lot of guts. I'll give them that. But how do they expect to break through? And I'm guessing it's massing up these Marine units together is what they're really trying to do. Just to be safe, we'll send Hopkins into town. But, man, this is going to be it. And they are actually getting the Scarborough crew off. They completely destroyed our artillery. These guys put up such an amazing fight. And just look at the aftermath of that. But I don't think they're going to arrive in time. So they're actually going to drop the Scarborough crew off. Hopefully get them to attack the town. I think that's their goal. But I think we've got it, guys. I can't say for 100% certainty, but our colonial troops are doing a great job at just holding the front of the town here from the British. I'm not seeing any sort of chance of an attack, and even Captain Kidd is going to follow up with another volley on the retreating British troops. I think we've got this one. I could be wrong, of course. I have been before, but we're just going to stay put and hold this in the name of the Continental Congress. Might be the first time in our American conflicts that we actually haven't had any Loyalists assisting. Of course, we don't know if some of these British Army units have Loyalists in them, but I think these are all British from the mainland. So in this particular case, it was really just the British Navy and Army that we contended with. And that's going to mean a lot more than our previous battles. Firing on Loyalists, that's great, but destroying actual British Army and naval units is even better, showing them that even our standard militia can take them on if we need to. Although over here, they're about to prove a point and potentially trying to retake that flag right there. We've got a British flag right on the ground there. The general is not going to be pleased. Is it General Howe at this point? I think it is General Howe. He's not going to be pleased with the loss of that flag. So they're certainly going to do everything they can and anything they can to retake that. That's it. That's all we have. So if they have another group of infantry here, we are going to be completely out of luck. Keep firing, boys. They finally managed to shatter one of our sailor units, guys. It took them long enough, but it finally happened. And now we only have the regulars and about, well, about 70 sailors here, give or take, holding on to the very last portion, the last, well, really the last objective point in this battle. So let's hope that we can hold it here. This is incredible that it's come down to this. It's really come down to the Continental Army. Might just be 16 men with no ammunition, but even Lowe has his uses here. We just can't leave this space. We've got to stay right here. Look at just how quickly our units are switching fire on each enemy that, of course, poses a threat. I just love it. These guys are amazing, and Elfa absolutely deserves some sort of commendation or, you know, reward, something after this battle if he can hold. If he can hold. Alright, Lowe, you know what? We'll send you over here. Same with Captain Kidd. I'm just going to send him over here to harass the enemy, essentially. But I believe Savannah, Georgia is safe. Safe in our hands. That's got to be all of the grief they can give us this particular mission. I sure hope so. That has been an absolute tooth and nail fight. And they're still sending in troops because they know once they get back to General Howe or General Cornwallis. I believe Cornwallis came at the end of the war, though. Once they get back to General Howe and explain what happened here, he is going to be enraged. Absolutely enraged that they weren't able to take this position from us. It's just not acceptable. It just isn't. And they're going to have a lot of explaining to do, and their friends in the army are going to have absolutely no supplies whatsoever here. So there we go, dealing with Whitney still here, and we've got another unit moving up. But I think that's going to be it. We'll just get another volley. We'll let our Continental Army get one more volley. Nope, that's it. They want to finish, and so do I. And a victory at the Battle of the Rice Boats, boys. Pretty decent in terms of casualties and losses. Unfortunately, clearly the casualties and losses here are not showing up properly. That's okay, the game is still in early access, but I hope you guys enjoyed that glorious victory for the Continental Army. Alright guys, if you did, please hit that like button, drop a comment. I just decided to put it here in its entirety, and that is a lot of work. So, please do what you gotta do, and I'll catch you on the next one.